Listen, a tough night in the office for Arsenal, but a goal from Bukayo Saka gives them the win. That's 3 from 3, almost through to the knockout stages now of the Europa League. And what's very important is to make sure you're winning your group. Of course, they had a game postponed due to the passing of the Queen. They probably would have won that as well and been at 12 from 12 at this stage. But very, very important for Arsenal to get that win. It's a little bit dicey towards the end, there's no doubt. Bolo Glimt, or some of you in the comments are calling them, I think one of the funniest nicknames for a team I've heard is Bozo Gimp. I don't know why it tickled me. It just did. Maybe I'm a child. But there's some chances, no doubt. Pellegrino will be kicking himself at that one-on-one opportunity in the first half. And I can't remember the name of the other player. Was it Espadrille or something along those lines? He had a great opportunity going through on goal. Also, Arsenal will probably look back at this game and be frustrated at a lack of control in midfield in parts. But winning is winning is winning. And it was on an artificial pitch. So often in the game, you kind of felt that Arsenal were playing within themselves. And that is a bit of a risk. It certainly is a bit of a risk. And for the majority of the players on the pitch, and I'm just looking at the starting lineup now to not get any of these names wrong. But of course, the likes of Saliba, the likes of Tierney, Odegaard, who started, Saka that started. These are first team players. I was a little bit disappointed with some of the fringe guys. I think they're a little bit lackadaisical when you think, well, you should be fighting really hard to become a first team player. You should be fighting really, really hard to give Mikel Arteta a difficult decision to make, this weekend, next weekend, at some point in the Premier League. And they didn't quite do that, some of these individuals today. And that isn't taking anything away from the Bolo Glimt. They haven't lost, I think, in 16 home games in Europe. So there was an air of confidence about them. Small pitch, small stadium with the fans very close to the pitch as well. So there was some difficult moments tonight for Arsenal, but they do win again. They win again, and this will become a game that is forgotten. By tomorrow morning, Arsenal fans forget about every single element of this game, and they focus on Leeds. They focus staying top of the Premier League table. There isn't really too much to be critical of. I'm sure Arsenal fans would have wanted more goals. They would have wanted a bit more edge. I would say the only thing I would probably be concerned about is Lokonga's performance, Nketiah's performance. I don't feel they showed enough. I don't think they showed enough to say I'm a first team player. I will say Matt Turner in goal. Good. Some of his sweeping tonight was very, very good indeed. And there could have been one or two more opportunities on goal if he hadn't been so quick off his line, so good with his feet as well. So he'll probably walk away with this. He knows he's not going to be the first team goalkeeper over Aaron Ramsdale, but he'll be happy with his performance. I did want to speak about Bukayo Saka as well tonight, though. And my title says it all. Bukayo Saka is top class. And I've always said about Saka that he has got world-class tendencies, world-class talent. It's there. He needs to develop it. Technical ability for days. We know he's got a good touch. He can go inside, outside, can play on the left, can play the right, can play multiple positions. There is an intelligence there. There is a brilliant palate for football. What was missing with Bukayo Saka has been the output. And what I'm really impressed with is the level of goals and assists he's starting to get. That is important. For everything Bukayo Saka is brilliant at, he needs to score and assist more. Facts. I know there are a lot of football fans that downplay goals and they downplay assists even more. But as an attacker, they are imperative. It's like being a milkman and not delivering milk, being a postman and losing your mail, being a doctor and saving 0 lives. You're bad at your job if you're doing those things. If you're an attacker and you don't create goals, if you're an attacker and you don't score goals, you are not good at your job. Point blank. You're not good. And Bukayo Saka had to start adding the output. And that is now coming. And that's something about Bukayo Saka that's impressed me. I've said it for a long time. He's on the wall in my studio for a reason. He's a player I've always rated. He's a player that I've always felt had the world at his feet and had this great potential to be a star. And he's now starting to add those goals. That's 12 appearances this season, 8 goal contributions. And why I think that's even more important, that's in a period where he hasn't, in my view, been at his scintillating best. But world-class players impact games even when they're not at their best. That's the difference between the good, the very good, and the top-class players. Then to become fully world-class, it's you do that on a very consistent basis over multiple seasons, back to back to back to back. That is what a world-class football player is, in my opinion. And Saka's starting now to move the output element of his game along into that top class category. If he plays 43 games, is what he played last year, the goal return he's currently giving you, GA return he's giving you, will be about 28 GA. But you're probably going to play more than 43 games this season because you weren't in Europe last year, as an example. And that you might go a little bit further in the cup competitions as well. So Saka could find himself nearer the 50 to 55 game mark this year, meaning that he's going to get 30 plus goal contributions. That is working towards world class level. It most certainly is. World class level, by the way, isn't peak Messi, peak Ronaldo, what Haaland's doing. That is what I call alien degree. That is ridiculous. That is compound V performances, not world class performance. Let's not rewrite the history books here. Those guys are aliens. They are not world class. They are something divine in a footballing sense. I'm sorry if anyone that's religious that's listening, but it's the truth. But I was happy to see Saka score again, just because I feel that he is a player that needs that. He needs to add that to his game to go to the next level. Doesn't matter how good you look, how the step overs look, the drag backs look, how nice the technique is, those goals, those assists count. And he probably never score a more fortuitous goal in his life. Shoots, gets blocked, hits him in the face, and goes in. But I always remember he wasn't a world class player, but this goal always stands out. Go and Google. I'm not going to explain it to you. Go and Google Javier Hernandez's Chicharito's first goal for Man United against Chelsea. One of the funniest goals I've ever seen in my life. But you need the goals. Harold here says Bodo Glimt's year budget is less than half the price Arsenal pay for Vieira. I think they deserve some respect for their performance. I think that, of course, they do. Of course, they do. These are beyond minnows, and I've got a lot of respect for the Norwegian league. My cousin Ben, you might not be watching. If you are, I hope you're well. I hope you're well. Played in Norway. Played there for the majority of his career. In fact, my cousin Ben scored a goal at Stamford Bridge in the UEFA Cup and knocked Chelsea out of this competition in, I think, 2002 or 2003. 2003, it must have been. I left school. So, and, I've watched a lot of Norwegian football as a younger man because he played for Viking Stefana. He played for Start and a few others over there. So I've got a lot of respect for it, but it's minuscule compared to the Premier League. And they have done themselves proud and they can walk away. Look, the pitch didn't help. The fact that, I'm not going to lie, I do believe this. I think the Premier League players feel like the fans feel sometimes for these games. It's almost like, oh, do we have to play them? I know it sounds really arrogant and elitist, but sometimes I feel like the Spanish teams, the English teams, the Germans, and the Italians should just automatically be in the knockout stages. We shouldn't even have to play these games. Generally speaking, they're so easy for us. It becomes a little bit of a non-contest in many ways. So that's why they'll be happy, to only have conceded one tonight. That'll be a mini victory for them. Immensely proud of my Arctic boys. Keeping possession well and creating against the leaders of the Premier League isn't a small feat for a team from a town of 50,000 people. And again, that has to be pointed out. More people fit into the Emirates than live in Bodo Glimt, the town that they are in. That is the length and short. So people might banter Arsenal, you didn't do too much. Listen, if Arsenal went out there with their first 11 and went for it, it could have been a massacre. But they didn't. They didn't need to. They got the job done. But yeah, a really, really a proud night for them. You'll probably find that the locals are, how do I say this? Proud even though they've lost, if that makes sense. So sometimes that's the thing. I know League Gunner thinks unless you're winning the Champions League, you're a dead club and you're not winning. But there's levels to this, and they're probably very, very happy out there tonight. They probably are. Make it a world league. Explain that to me, Gerald. Explain that to me, my friend. By the way, people, make sure you're smashing the like buttons and you're subscribing to the Football Terrace. It's very, very important. I wanted to say a big thank you to everyone over the past week or so. We are on course for not just a record-breaking October, but we're actually on course for the biggest month in the history of the Football Terrace. I want to thank each and every single one of you for making that possible, helping us get there, and taking us to that point. It means a great deal. And we've got a few announcements coming up soon with the Terrace, which contractually I can't talk about. But when I say I'm excited, I'm beyond excited about the next phase that the Terrace is going to go through, and the individuals we're going to be working with. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that. So a next level Terrace is what's coming to you. I'm going to bring up my mini panel soon with Igal, Jason, Gunnar Souls, and Jessica, as I like to call her, to be fair, or Jessinio. Sometimes I think, are you 5? I'm joking, really. It's a joke. Oh no, she pulled a funny face backstage. I'm in trouble now. I'm in trouble when she comes on. I love this Arsenal channel. I have to say, recently, I'm one of the best performing Arsenal content creators on the planet. I think it's funny, really, how people think I support Arsenal because I'm unbiased. But you know what's going to happen in like a year if Arsenal in a bad run, and then I'm praising another club. It's going to be, oh, I thought you were an Arsenal fan. Now you're saying Chelsea are good. Just say whoever's good is good. Honestly, try it. Do me one favor. Anyone that's influenced by me in any way, try this for a week. Stop pushing back against things you know are true because you don't want them to be, and embrace them, and see how different you feel as a human being. See how different your life is. It's a very different kind of feeling. It is for me anyway, but there we go. Harry here says, Matt Turner, man of the match. He had a good game tonight. Good save as well. A really good low save in the second half as well. Very, very good. Terry, they had a full team except Sambi. Did they have a full team? Let me go through their team. Matt Turner, that's one. TNE, that's two. He's not their first team player now. Zinchenko is. Holding, Vieira, Lokonga, Nelson, and Ketia. So 7. See, Matt, this is my thing, bro. 7. I'm not saying they shouldn't have scored more, maybe, but it was 7, brother. 7. That's 7 players that will not be starting against Leeds. Yeah, definitely not just one, my friend. It isn't. Poor performance, but the boys didn't look like they put that much into it. And I agree with you. I agree. I agree with you 110%. Matt exposed. Look, listen, Matt's probably a good guy, but what Matt's doing, he's angry. Everyone's angry about Arsenal because they're winning so many games. I just accept it. It is what it is. Just it is what it is. I don't get the. I don't really understand the anger. I was actually looking at. You actually look at Arsenal, including their preseason. It's actually sickening. I'm going to put it on the screen. Right, look at this. Let me share my screen with you all for a second. So, I'm not going to share it with all my tabs because I don't want you seeing all my tabs. Nothing mad. It just look at this. That's Arsenal's year, including preseason. It annoys me. It's just all them W's. One loss. I mean, who did they lose to, though? Only one loss was to Man United. The rest of it, though, it's actually mad. Including preseason, they haven't lost a game or drawn a game, barring that weird night in Manchester. Crazy. And I can't actually see them losing. I'm looking now. The next game I look at Arsenal, where I go, I think they could lose, is probably Chelsea on the 6th of November. And then after that, not until they play Tottenham again in January. Like, that's how good Arsenal look. But there we go. 11 wins from 12 this season. It cannot be scoffed at, in my opinion. Just can't. Listen, people, we're going to bring the panel out now to have their say. It's only a short match reaction tonight because I don't know if there's much to talk about, if I'm being honest. And we've got top 6 tomorrow. We've got top 6 tomorrow. We've got my prediction tomorrow. So stay tuned for my top 6 preview. And I think we've got Ben Jacobs on tomorrow morning as well. I've got to double check with him because he's busy today. But we've got Gunnar Souls coming out. We've got Jason. We've got Brandon. We've got Egal when his camera comes on. A man like Sam and Jess as well. Let's do this, people. Let's go. Welcome, people. How you doing? You all good?
I'm doing good. How's everyone doing?
Relax, man.
To watch at times.
I'm good.
Boring, but we take the W. That's all I gotta say, Terry. Honestly, boring game, but we take the W. We move Bukayo Saka scoring a deflected goal off his chest and his chin. Luckily, it didn't hit another body part, or else it would be ruled off for a handball or something. But you know what? We take the points. We run. Hopefully, the PSV game is going to be more entertaining. I can't wait to see that game now because the level of opposition is finally going to be a little bit higher. Now, no disrespect to them. First half, I felt like they gave us a little bit of scares here and there, but we did what we had to do. Matt Turner stepped up, and you know what? Today, I can't fault him. So yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think before the game, I didn't really care about the performance. I think Bodo Glimt was one of those type of games where they haven't lost in 15 home games in a row, and I think in general, so it was obviously going to be a difficult thing. They got a good crowd, and mainly that's out is just to get a result there. And we scored you could see some sort of a fluke goal, but that doesn't really matter as long as we got the 3 points, and we'll go back 9 points against a big game against PSV. If we win that, then we basically secured first place in the group.
Jess, did any players tonight do enough for you to maybe look at pushing towards a first team position?
Probably not. I think there's some players that just didn't really. I would say there's 4 players in particular: Vieira, Nelson, Marquinhos, and Sambi, that I thought did not do anything to change the narrative of who's the starting 11. And Sambi was okay on the ball, but still, like, Thomas Partey shouldn't have had to even lace his boots at all today, but he had to come on because Sambi's so weak out of possession, and that's definitely a position that needs to be strengthened in January. It's just we are hanging on by a thread there. One turn of the ankle from Thomas Partey, and it's looking crazy if we have to play Sambi there. Um, and Fabio Vieira, I thought he was okay. Like, I thought he was okay, but Nelson's an interesting one because there's been a lot of hype around him over the last couple of days, and I thought he was pretty anonymous too. And so, yeah, it's obvious where we need to strengthen, but nobody's really pushing the starting 11 except for Tierney and Tommy. That's it. And they are starting quality. So, yeah, I don't know if you guys disagree or not, but those 4 players, I just thought, yeah, you're sitting on the bench against Leeds.
I honestly thought we can't really take much away from this game with the pitch that we were playing on. It was kind of like stay away from injuries, try to stay away from like getting any major injuries. Because I'm not sure if you guys know, but I think it was what do you guys call it, 3G or whatever it is, one of those pitches where you could really hurt yourself and it really puts a lot of strain on your muscles. So luckily everyone got out of there healthy, and we just move on to the next game.
That's what these games are about, though, because I know it sounds harsh, but these players will feel how we feel as fans watching our clubs against these lesser teams. There is a little bit of a lack of enthusiasm for it because it's hard to get up for it. It sometimes is, and you often, like, rivals will like, you just scrape past them. The players were playing in second gear and weren't really sure. And I'm sure if they'd have got one of those goals early in the second half, you'd have upped your levels. You'd have gone down the other end and scored pretty quickly. Brandon, what did you make of it, mate? That's 11 wins, though, in 12 games. Best game to win ratio, or wins to games ratio in England. Top class.
Yeah, a bit like everybody else, Terry, to be honest with you. I think it was a bit of a nothing performance, really. We knew what we had to do. Just go there, win the game. It's a tough pitch to play on. The only thing that I'm a little bit disappointed about, and you kind of pointed it out already, is that none of the players that are pushing for a starting place in the first team actually performed. I mean, it's these type of games where them players need to perform to be able to push for a starting position. And it kind of said everything that Mikel Arteta was having to bring on the big boys from the bench just to see us out of the game. And I think players like Vieira, I think Rob Holding was all right today, but players like Vieira, like Lokonga, like Marquinhos need to do more. And I know it's difficult because of the pitch, and of course Bodo Glimt of 14 game winning streak at their ground, but you have to do more if you want to become a first team player for Arsenal Football Club, especially with the way that the team are playing now. And I think them players in particular should really go home with their heads kind of in their hands a little bit, thinking, well, this is an opportunity for me to stake a claim and I haven't taken it. So, hopefully they perform better in the next game, as Agal pointed out, which should be a bit more of a competitive game anyway. So
Yeah, no doubt about that. I wanted to ask you all, Souls, I'll go to first on this. Bukayo Saka, 8 goal contributions in 12 games. The level of outputs is always something that's been sort of labeled against him as being not quite at the level to warrant how good Arsenal fans say he is. Do you feel like he's now moving on to that next level, to move into that top class stroke world class category? Or is there, and how much further what more do you want to see from him for him to be looked at as one of the best wingers in the world? Or do you already think he's there? What's your take?
No, he's definitely on his way. It's very early. I don't really like judging young players and saying that they're world class or they've got the potential just yet. But I think he's showing the signs, and now he's putting the output into it. Do you know what the biggest thing for him is? Anyone that doubts him, he proves that wrong. Like, for example, people like he's very one-footed. The very next season, he goes and works on his weak foot and he starts scoring right-footed goals. And that's the most impressive thing. Look at the Euros, for example, missed the penalty, got hounded by the fans, racist chants, all of that. What does he do against Liverpool for a winning penalty, by the way? Goes and grabs that ball from the likes of Gabriel Jesus and goes, "This is my moment." I think more than his ability, like I always say, people have ability, but it's the mentality that lets them down. This kid's got both. He's got the ability and he's got the mentality to back it up. And today, when the team needed him, he went and got the goal. He was like, "Okay, you guys aren't going to do anything. Fine, I'll do it for you." And every time he got the ball, he was one of those players that you look at and go, the pitch doesn't matter. The opponents don't matter. They're big. By the way, I think people are disrespecting Bodo Glimt. I think they're a physical side. They're big. They're very well organized. And I think this is where the European cockiness comes in when we look at these lower leagues and think, yes, they're physical. They want it more. Do you know the hardest thing to do is getting up for a game that you don't want to win? And I think Saka today showed his levels of maturity to show he is that next thing. And he had to have this performance. And the only thing that disappoints me sometimes is his ability to finish is still not there, which is going to let him down in that world-class category. He needs to work on that. Yes, the output's there. Yes, his decision-making's better, but there's still a few things, but he's very young and he's seemingly taking on a lot more and improving every week you see him.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I as an outsider looking in, I agree. And I've got a vested interest, because he is one of, without people accusing me of being an Arsenal fan again, he is one of my players because he plays for my country. I was very tempted to honestly buy an Arsenal shirt and just wear it on a string for a laugh and see if anyone noticed. Like,
You don't need to, Terry. We know you're an Arsenal fan. You're streaming for Arsenal while Man United are about to kick off. So don't tell me you're not a United fan. That's a lie.
Honestly, it's been weird being called an Arsenal fan, but it's funny because Arsenal fans are calling me a Chelsea fan only a year ago, and it is what it is. But it's that's a very nice thing said to me. I got a message from a guy. Everyone else have been quite nice, cordial with. There is one goon that messaged me. He's fairly prominent in the football social world. It's like, "Brother, I've hated your stuff for years, but now you're being nice to us. I like it." And then he's like, "I'd like to maybe come on one day." Just messaged him back saying, "Nah, thanks. I'm not about that. I'm not about that just because suddenly I'm popular." You ain't coming off the back of that. What I'm going to do is give a platform to the people that have been loyal to me. And that's my message today. But yeah, it made me laugh. I was like, there you are. You know who I am, do you? Funny. Do one, bruv. I'm not about that life. I'm not about that turncoat life. It's not what I do. As a kid growing up, we used to call them go-offs. Can
I touch on one thing, Terry?
Yeah, go on, bruv. Go on.
Odegaard and Fabio Vieira today against lesser opposition didn't really look that good. Well, I don't know if we can judge it, but
I think that's Arteta's fault. I'm going to say that.
Fabio Vieira, I don't think he's an 8. I think he's an attack. I know that people say an 8 is an attacking midfielder, but when you're an 8, you have to also do like standard central midfield work, and I don't think that's his game. He wants to be a little bit of I don't want to say free spirit. I've enjoyed watching Fabio Vieira in the games he's played, in and around the box, floating left and right. You can't do that if you're the 8. You've got to be more disciplined, and I think it's going to be those two fighting out for a position. Odegaard, I think, is going to win that fight, but it's good to have. Like, you need that level of competitiveness.
I think it works when you have a better player at the base.
True.
I think that really is. If Thomas Partey is standing there, I think those players play fine together. Like, I don't think it's that deep. I really don't.
I think it's a role thing. I think what Arteta did wrong was put Fabio Vieira as the deeper of the two. He needed to push Vieira forward and bring Odegaard to because for me, Odegaard's the pass before the pass, whereas Vieira's the finisher, and he's the one that's a bit more clinical and got that killer instinct. So if you had pushed him more further up and let him do what he's good at, I think you would have seen a better game from him, and Odegaard could have come deeper to control tempo and allowed the game to flow better. But we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
There'll definitely be games this season, and as you grow and get better, where you can play both of them, even in the Premier League with at home against Nottingham Forest, you could play both in midfield with Partey behind them. Like that shouldn't scare you. So I think sometimes this whole who's our best 11, who's your best 11 when you're playing the best 2 or 3 teams in the world, cool. But when it comes to like overall, you're going to rotate. And I always remember this story a Liverpool fan told me. It wasn't really a story. It was a fact, but he told me it within a story. He's like, who's Liverpool's best 11? And it was in the peak of Klopp's team. And we all could name it. We'd all go Alisson, Trent, Robertson, Matip. We all knew the 11. He said, yeah, in the last 70 games, they've started 3 together. And that's what the best teams do. If you actually look at Man City over the last few years, you could probably pick who their best 11 is. I reckon you'd be shocked out. Oh, sorry, Rashford nearly scored. Sorry. I had to fake that reaction so everyone thinks I'm a United fan. Sorry. Rashford nearly bent in the top corner. Oh, that would have been so nice. I love that Rash is nearly pretty much back now. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, what are we talking about? I lost track.
This team started the same best 11 very like 3 or 2 times every 50 games.
Yes. So you rotate quite a bit. Sorry, it's funny. I was recording, and no one knows this. I'm going to reveal it. Last week we were recording the 12th man, and KJ organized it for the time that the Man United kicked off. So we had Gunnar Lee and Don Hussam doing it, and throughout the whole thing, I'm just doing this, and I could hear. I was going, yeah. I was just watching the game, and I finished it, and I was like, shit, I don't even know what they said. I don't remember anything. I had to watch it back to the timestamps because I had no idea what they said. Because I'm going to do timestamps live, so I don't have to do extra work. But yeah, it was. I struggle when Man United are on to focus on anything. It's terrible. But there we go. Terry, 500 likes to wear an Arsenal shirt, bro. £500 donation. I'm not doing it for 5. I am not going to burn my skin. That is burning my skin for likes. No. You got to pay
wait, now I got an idea. If Arsenal top on New Year's Day, you have to wear an Arsenal shirt.
No, you can just wear a hoodie, Terry.
That doesn't make sense, right? Because I've predicted you to be very good. You know what I mean? It needs to be something else. Like, I'll do it for money.
What's your next hot take, Terry?
My next
all
hot
your
take
takes seem to be going right nowadays.
I don't think I have any at the moment. By the end of this weekend, I might have one, and that is that Liverpool will not make the top 4 this year.
I could already tell you that.
Yeah, and that's just no, I think they might, because if they lose and Chelsea win, that's 10 points off the top 4 by now. 17 points off top, they're done, and that would be.
Your prediction was 1 year late. She knows.
We should just post that and say she said it now. So it was, in fact, what we did, we went through time. It was actually from this year. We've got to find a way of doing it. Take a pic at the Emirates, Terry. In fairness, my studio is not far from the Emirates, so I might just go down there. But no, listen, I don't love. The thing is, all these Arsenal fans that say they love me, if something goes wrong for you, and I'm start laughing, they're gonna be like, "Who's this guy laughing at us?" Yeah, it's me. Like, I don't want you to do well. I just speak the truth. Terry, Roberto Baggio, Zidane, Baston, David Beckham, best footballer from all 4. On a personal preference, I'm going to pick David Beckham because he is my hero. That is pure bias. In terms of footballing ability, I'm going to go with Zidane. When it comes to the most clinical, I'm going to go with Van Basten. But overall, if I was to pick, I'm going to go with Zinedine Zidane. Of those players, that's who I would go with. Zizou would be the guy that I would pick out of all of them. But that's in reality. That's in like being serious. In reality, I would never be able to leave my Beck standing there. My Beckham would have to get picked. I'd be like, David, please. I just want to hug off him, to be honest. You know what I mean? We are hair transplant brothers as well. He did have a hair transplant, did David Beckham.
By the way, Terry, do you guys have a backup goalkeeper at United?
We have 2. We have Tom Heaton and DeBradcar.
Oh, okay.
It's Sam, by the way, what have you done to your hair?
I just got a haircut.
Who's done that? Who done that haircut for you? The council?
Oh, that's rude. That's rude.
Just winding you up, you old mate. But there we go. Any of you got any fears over playing Leeds? Any worries, concerns, fears?
I want to know if Jesus is fit, and if Jesus is not fit, I'm still okay with Eddie Nketiah starting, but I just want to know what his status is.
I got a question.
I think Jesus is fit.
He's fit.
He's fine.
He had a little minor head injury, but it was just like it's fine. It's just.
I got a question. I want young Samuel to answer first. I've seen Liverpool fans in the last few days tweeting pictures saying Nunez is looked at as a flop. He's got 4 goals, but Gabriel Jesus is looked at as one of the best signers of the summer, and he's got 5 goals. What's your take on Liverpool fans saying that about your boy?
It's absolute rubbish because Nunez has played like 3-4 extra games than Jesus. Jesus hasn't even started 1 game in Europe. And Nunez has started almost 2 out of the 3 games in the Champions League. So it's Liverpool fans again Terry, they're full of crap, right? At the beginning of the season, they said, "Oh, he's better than Jesus. He's on Haaland's level," and now they're saying, "Oh, he's better than Jesus." Well, they found out in reality he's not better than both. Possibly he's the like 6th, 7th, not even top 10 striker in the Premier League right now. He's just, I think, the flop of the season. Possibly a bigger flop than Lukaku, in my opinion, as of right now.
Could be. Well,
That's debatable. That's
definitely
so
not. It's definitely not going to be Anthony with 3 from 3 in the Prem. Go on, my son. But there we go. Boys, and of course, Jess, thank you all very much for coming on. Not much to speak about tonight. Viewers, thank you very much. Smash the like and share button. We are live after Man United versus Ammonia. I don't even know their name. Last week, I forgot they were from Cyprus. They were from Greece. That would definitely have hurt a few people, but they are from Cyprus. We're playing them now. We're live afterwards. Remember, 6 p.m. tomorrow, the top 6 show is on. So make sure you're tuning in. It's going to be a fiery one, especially with the big games this weekend. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very, very soon. Thank you. Bye.